Hello, and welcome to SteamLUG Cast, Season 2, Episode 22. We're recording this on Friday, the 31st of October, and I have with me Derrida
Hello.
and Namoda.
Hi there.
Cheese is away for the next few weeks. I know he's turning up at Paxall's, was it? And a Double Fine Barbecue. He sends his regards, and we're going to get on without him.
Why do they need a barbecue for Double Fine after they have been grilled so thoroughly by their community about their recent decisions?
Yeah. So what have you all been playing?
Well, I've been binging on Counter-Strike Global Offensive, like seriously, almost the only thing I've been playing. And some Dead Island I have been playing as well. What have you been playing, Namoda?
A bit of Crusader Kings 2 after that event, and kind of dragged on for the next week or two after that. Bit of Civ 5, I guess they've updated recently a little bit, and of course Gunzerkers Online. I did try out the Insanely Twisted Shadow Planet just a little bit. It seemed like a pretty good port. And Space Base DF9, which we can probably talk more about later, and Factorio just had a multiplayer release today. It's still a little buggy, but looks to be pretty cool.
Cool.
What have you been playing, John?
As Derrida mentioned, an awful lot of Global Offensive. I've been popping in with him and Swordfisher, a bit with Meklu. Some competitive matches, but mostly casual, just because I'm not even rusty, I'm terrible. And I'm sure Derrida would agree. I played through nearly all of Never-Ending Nightmares, one of the titles I funded this year. Gunpoint I popped into and completed. I was surprised at how short that was, but that was quite pleasant. And quite a lot of Dead Island. I'm sort of halfway through, I think, at the moment, and been enjoying that. So yeah.
So let's look at our past events in absolutely no correct order. We have had a Project Zomboid event going as part of a 3-event Halloween special. And it seems like not that many people showed up, but at least we got like a game of 3 people going, which is nice. It's self-organized enough. We also played some Necro, where only Diego showed up and played with me for an hour. Which was fun, but that game is still like not as fleshed out as it should be. And there was also Interstellar Marines. Namoda, you have been around for that one?
I don't know if anyone showed up for that one, actually. It's kind of sad, but there was some interest in playing it, but I guess nobody could make the event.
Yeah, I guess it's a bit of our fault because we were shitty about scheduling events this past month. So, apologies if people wanted to attend something but didn't notice it soon enough. And we have also been playing Counter-Strike Global Offensive. And I guess this should be one of our regular events now, because Turnaround was awesome and people have been having fun. Even though it's extremely evident how widespread the skill level is in our community, like people who have never played any Counter-Strike, and then people like me who have been playing for 10 years. And some people even more, like Counter-Strike Classic. So you have a few people on top of the scoreboard just dominating everything else, while the rest of the team is more like a noise that's shooting guns through the map. To put it a bit of an extreme.
To put it bluntly, yes. But yeah, speaking about CS:GO, it's likely we're going to put that in as probably more popular than like TF2, I think, because people do like that game.
Yeah, some regular events for that would be great.
Yep. But though, because it's Halloween at the moment, TF2 is on tomorrow night, so you're all welcome to join. We're going to be playing some bumper cars in all the themed maps. We've organised Dead Island for next Friday. Killing Floor is going to be after this event. I do hope some of you stay for that because the audience has been dwindling, and we'd like to see whether we should still keep putting them up for events or not. But yeah, if anyone's got suggestions for more events, for more games they want to see at events, do tell us, because we're more than welcome to slot in any game that we've not considered before.
So yeah, please tell us if there's a game you want to play or you want to see played. Definitely.
So let's move on to other community stuff. One of the fairly busy guys in our community, Soap, has been working on writing Linux port reports for PC Gaming Wiki. He's been looking at the quality of ports, most of the mainstream releases, the rather than small indie titles. So he's looked at Aspyr's titles and Feral's titles, and he's just been comparing screenshots for quality, looking at performance, seeing how they handle natively, if they've got issues with Steam Cloud and the rest. And he's been doing a really good job of them, I think. I have had the luck of having to edit all of them, so maybe I'm a bit biased, but
No, I think it's really helpful to have that information out there.
and I mean, I'm glad that he's going forward and looking at all the different qualities of these games that are arriving, and hopefully, I know that for the pre-sequel at least, he spoke to Aspyr beforehand, and they actually gave him a copy to look at and to comment on, and that's one of the good things. And hopefully, his feedback to them might improve the experience for us. So yeah,
Nice.
it looks like he's working on a Dead Island one over this weekend, so I'll be helping him out with that, just on a technical side and the rest. And yeah, it's just really cool that he's doing that work, and I'm glad that the submission I put in for Slashdot got accepted. So PC Gaming Wiki got all that extra exposure.
Yeah, front page publicity there for a little while. That certainly brought some attention to it.
That's really good. Moving on, Steam and Valve news. The Steam Halloween sale is running. Does it end on Monday? I forget.
It is now until November 3rd, 10 a.m. Pacific, so yeah, that's Monday.
Okay, it's a short sale. Some fairly good discounts. Nothing majorly exciting in it, really.
Somebody said there was like 100 of the games were on sale that had Linux ports.
That's other independent sales from the event, I think, as well. So. But indeed, yeah, there are some great games in there, Halloween themed and otherwise, so definitely check it out.
Oh, speaking of, I guess, Costume Quest 2, I think that's only just released and it's already on discount for the sale. So if you've got any children or you just like that sort of simple to play game, then jump in. I wanted to mention that we haven't been keeping up so much with Greenlight recently, and that's not because we haven't wanted to.
But because we haven't cared enough.
Well, yes, we haven't cared enough, but Valve has they've stepped back from releasing these massive batches that they were doing. I wonder if it was a backlog issue, but now they no longer put out these big press statements to say they've approved these games, and now they're just slowly letting the odd title through. So that's a complete change of pace, and it's kind of harder now to know whether know when a title's been let through unless you're following it or you favorited it in the actual Greenlight system. So it's going to be harder for us to find out about Linux titles. Yeah, if there are any titles that you've been following on Greenlight that are coming to Linux and we've just not mentioned them, contact us.
So, moving on to tech news, the Oculus Rift DK2 SDK has had an update, and that brings us experimental Linux support. You somehow can't view the changelog unless you have a developer's account on their websites, so there is no link for you. And sadly, Cheese, the only person here who has a DK2, isn't around to tell us about it, so it's just for your information, but we can't tell you how it works yet.
If I'd have actually remembered, I've got a dev account on their website. I should have just popped in and got the changelog. It's marked experimental because it's not full support. There are some issues, but other than that, I know a couple of developers on Twitter that have been tweeting about having problems getting it working. So, general gaming news. A title that came out yesterday, Transistor, has launched. Now, if you don't know this, it's by the developers of Bastion, which was a very well-received title, and so was Transistor. How do you describe this? Isometric style hack and slash game. It's got some sort of time mechanics where you can pause time and control your actions in the sort of gaming field. You have a sword that you can load with different modules that controls its performance and its characteristics, and it actually makes for quite interesting play styles because you can completely change how you're going to tackle events. And I've been playing this on and off the last couple of months for beta testing for the actual porter, which is Flibbit, who we've had on the cast before, and he's worked on other titles for Linux, Fez, Reyes, Dust and Legion Tale. But I reckon it's a good port. Have either of you two played it yet?
I've not had a chance to, but I will definitely pick it up at some point here.
It's absolutely on my to-get list, but at the moment there's so much sale-wise happening that I really have to consider what am I getting and what am I not getting right now.
Exactly. It is worth the soundtrack alone, though. Absolutely lovely to listen to.
Yeah, but the soundtrack sadly is an upsale. You don't get it with a base game.
I know. But one of the nice features that none of the other ports have for Transistor is that the Linux version has support for the DualShock 4 light bar, which the Windows and Mac versions don't have, which means that whenever Transistor talks, the little light on your controller pulses, which is only a feature found on the PS4, which I think it's a nice novelty.
I do hope at some point they have a DRM pre-release like Bastion did.
I do hope that's the case as well. I'd also like to see Bastion updated as well, but just for controller support and some other sort of SteamOS-related tweaks.
Another game we have already been talking about has been released. It's Dead Island, and to my personal surprise, it is native. And I'm surprised by that because the Mac port was done by Virtual Programming in a wrapper, the same guys who did The Witcher 2 for Mac and Linux in a wrapper. And it's surprising to see for such an old game that already was ported in a technology that is available on Linux to be done internally. And it was quite an under-the-radar release, don't you think?
It was, yeah. It just suddenly had its beta password removed and we could download it. It was very low on the fanfare. I don't know if there was a reason for that or whether it's a sort of soft launch before SteamOS consoles come out or something. But I'm very surprised by it. It's a good quality port. It performs pretty damn well for the quantity of graphics in that engine, and not only that, it's a port for Chrome Engine 5, which supports other great games as was it Call of Juarez Gunslinger, which is quite highly regarded as well. So maybe that's coming in the future. We don't know.
And maybe even the later Dead Island, like Dead Island Riptide.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm happy it's there. It's maybe not the best and highly rated game out there, but it's definitely a lot of fun in co-op and alone, I think, personally. Also, a new classic has been released on Steam. Icewind Dale Enhanced Edition is out on Steam for Linux right now. It's a classic RPG with with D&D rules, similar to Baldur's Gate, and it's definitely one of the more critically regarded classics. I have no idea how this version functions, but it's definitely on my pick-up list, because I have always missed out on playing this game when I was still on Windows, and now I have the chance on Linux.
It's also great to have some of those older games playable again, that it was just too much of a hassle to try and run in Wine or whatever else.
Yeah, I tried a bit. I even tried GemRB to play like Baldur's Gate or Planescape Torment on Linux, but I never had any luck with that. So yeah, getting native versions of these is quite nice.
It's very nice. This past week I compiled OpenMW myself. The packages in Ubuntu crashed for me. Being able to play Morrowind natively on Linux is absolutely amazing, and I'm glad that for the publishers that don't want to, either natively port or use GOG to wrap them, that we're going to have open source clients for some of these titles. So yeah, I added this title to our gaming news. It's by the developer of Blueberry Garden, and now that is a Linux title, but they've listed this as a likely to come to Linux. So I don't want to say that they're definitely going to bring it, but I have enough expectation that I thought I should mention it. It's called Else Heart.break, and it's a 3D adventure game, and it looks really interesting.
It looks super hipster. I mean, from a scale of 1 to Hobo, it looks like Hobo's hipster.
It looks like a cross between Sims 2 and GTA 2, where it's got really dark brooding colours, but that sort of Sims isometric style where the walls move, hide as you move through it. It's kind of weird.
Next on the list, there's Volga the Viking, the kickstarted, old school style, Sega Mega Drive Genesis style action platformer. Now has a Linux beta, which is semi-open. There's a link. If you already have it, you can get into the beta and test it out right now. It has definitely been one of the more critically regarded platformers lately, along the lines of Shovel Knight, and it's supposed to be balls to the wall hard. So if you enjoy some classic old school hard games, you might want to look into that.
Yeah, it's not the sort of platformer for me. It is really hard, but if you like that sort of thing, definitely get in.
Yeah, the word to say here might be super ghouls and goblins. Like you even lose
yeah, I get that.
pieces of your armor and weapons if you get hit.
Sounds pretty brutal. So we've had another humble indie bundle, number 13 now, with the Halloween theme to it. Lots of interesting games released. I guess a couple of them have been out already, but we did get some new ports. The Insanely Twisted Shadow Planet, Ollie Ollie, and Tower of Guns, and Risk of Rain. Was Jazzpunk out already? I can't remember if that one was or not.
It was, yeah. Risk of Rain? How would you describe that?
Buggy.
I'd agree with that, but I can't really speak much to it, sadly. It's quite a difficult platformer where it's sort of a roguelike. You'll pick up random items as you quest through the game, and it gets tougher and tougher and tougher. And I really don't know how you describe that at all.
I tried to play it and it just kept falling through the floors, so there was some bug that I couldn't get past the starting screen.
Insanely Twisted Shadow Planet, I found was really hard the first time I played it, and it was really hard the second time I played it. And once you sort of learn how the different bosses fight your spaceship, I came to absolutely love it, but it's so frustrating in places because, it's got some really weird difficulty curves. It's a really nice, I don't want to call it a twin stick shooter, even though it sort of is, but it's a nice game. That's another Microsoft published title that we've got, which is interesting.
Yeah, I played through a little bit, and the controls seem pretty smooth, and it's nice. I just haven't gotten very far in it yet.
But that's also got multiplayer, so maybe we might add that for an event.
Oh, it does. Wow.
Yeah, it's got some really. It's not co-op. It's got some really weird game modes that are quite tough for multiplayer. So
okay.
Stuff like you've got to carry lanterns through caves and stuff. It's interesting.
Have you played Tower of Guns much? I didn't get a chance to try that yet.
I haven't touched that, no.
Yeah, me neither, sadly, even though it's one of the most interesting games for me in that bundle, because it's one of the few I don't already have, and that genuinely interests me.
I've heard it recommended quite a few times on Twitter, but I just no interest at the moment.
Is that multiplayer too? I didn't even see.
I don't know, honestly. And with this Humble Indie Bundle, Humble have proudly announced that this marks over 100 games have been ported over by their porting teams.
Very nice.
Which, we have to thank them for mostly getting this initiative started, and
Yeah, and at least their actual official titled indie bundles have always had Linux ports for the games. So even though they've strayed on some of their other ones, that they have still at least stayed true on those.
Well, they don't need to shaft us on the main bundles with that by leaving out Linux games. They only need to shaft us by including a second price to beat and kind of eliminating the purpose of pay what you want in that bundle.
Yeah, I haven't been overly happy with their, beat the average and then the additional secondary purchase options and then the buy a t-shirt sort of stuff.
Yeah, that is a different thing. The physical good stuff I can live with because it's something that simply has a cost to it that can't be minimized because it's digital. If you buy a t-shirt, that t-shirt needs to be made. If you buy a game, that game needs to be copied.
No, I get that.
It really doesn't bother me because I've always given at least that much amount anyway, so it's about the same.
Yeah, actually, same here, but you can't say pay what you want anymore if it's not even close to that.
I don't know why the t-shirt's there. That's my comments. Or vinyl stuff or other bits and bobs.
It's fishing for whales.
Some people like that stuff, I guess, but yeah, not my thing.
Aspyr has said stuff on the Linux gaming subreddit. They are bringing out at least 2 new games to Linux, and with some confusing wording, that number might even be 7. We are not quite sure about this. John has his own opinion that there are 3 projects, 1 newly added to come in the next 6 months, but yeah, anywhere between 2 and 7 games should be coming out in the next 6 months or so by Aspyr.
Yeah, they were kind of cryptic in how they phrased it, and I read it one way and Derrida read it the other, so that's why we've shared both of our thoughts. We'll link it in the show notes, and you can decide for yourself. But
yeah, they were kind of cryptic too about what kind of game it would be. It didn't seem like it was going to be some major new game that might be something more classical that they really enjoyed.
Yeah, because their hints are like one you already love, so to me that sounded like it was going to be like a sequel. But then I thought that would be Civ BE, so. And then they mentioned one that we don't know about yet, and I just no idea what that could be.
Not one that we don't even know yet that we love it. That was kind of the wording.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. And then they hint that, we've just got an extra one. See, I was teasing that I thought it might be Bioshock Infinite, but quite a few people laughed at me when I suggested that, so I'm just going to keep my mouth shut.
It's not impossible, but who knows how likely it is. Guessing here is pointless unless they are coming out and telling us stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's just 2K have been sort of okay with this move, so, maybe.
2K seems quite likely. That is indeed true. They have been kind of passively in on the whole Linux thing.
Yeah, just getting Borderlands was pretty interesting. First conversation first started, and they were like, no, we don't think we can do that. And then like a month later, oh, here you guys go.
Yeah, but that was about in-house stuff, and I guess it's more like Aspyr is pitching their stuff to them, and then it's out of their hands as soon as they get it. They are the publisher now for us. Every issue we have with that game goes to Aspyr first, and they maybe put it upstream.
I wonder if that's our fault, because from all the noise on Twitter that then got back to Reddit, and of course, since we know they're quite popular reading our subreddit, I wonder if they saw our requests, and I don't know, they must have been working on it for more than a month and a bit, or whenever Randy's comments were on Twitter.
Well, they had been doing Mac parts for them for some time, so it's not like they were brand new to them.
I guess they just seized a very obvious opportunity there.
Yeah, they certainly did. So GOG has been adding more titles to their DRM download. FTL and Race the Sun have arrived on GOG's platform. So
to their DRM downloads, you mean their DRM free downloads?
DRM free, sorry, yes. They've got a contract with Disney now, which is a bit surprising, but they've been adding some of LucasArts adventure games and Star Wars titles. But the two Linux games that you can download from Disney so far are Sam & Max Hit the Road and Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. Very good adventure games from the past, and I do hope more come.
Yeah.
If you do not buy Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, or say you have never played it and you say you like adventure games, you are a lying person that is not telling the truth and lying.
I don't want to land in the open sea.
Bean agrees with me, so it must be true.
Yeah, there's certainly some great adventure games from that time, and hopefully we'll get as many as we can. So we've had Space Base 1.0 released, and this was kind of a sad release for a lot of people because it was not quite the game everybody wanted, but they have improved the Linux port quite a bit. It runs much more smoothly, and they fixed quite a few bugs. So it's still kind of a unfinished game, I guess, but it's playable as it is, so maybe some people will continue to expand on it and see how that goes.
How much of the engine for that is open?
Definitely at least all the scripting, but I don't know if the base engine is or not. But I just don't know how much scripting controls the game or how moddable it will be. But it sounds like it's open enough that some interesting things can come out of it.
I thought from one of the talks we had with JP that the engine they use for some of their titles are open source. I wonder if that was just for their adventure game or not.
Cheese would definitely know more about that, but we'll have to wait till he gets back. And we've had a Crusader Kings 2 update, which is a pretty major update with tons of new features, but unfortunately on most platforms it is quite buggy and crashes frequently, so I imagine they'll be working on that for some time and getting in stable shape. But you can still play the old version. If you go through the Steam's beta menu, you can look at previous versions, so if you had an old save, then you probably want to be doing that anyway.
Is it just me, or are Crusader Kings 2 updates a crapshoot more often than not?
Kind of seems that way. It's odd that they use the beta menu to store their old versions rather than testing their new ones first, but I guess they want to force everybody to test their new version. That's one way to do it.
Did they add some kind of UI scaling yet?
I don't know.
Because I would love to get into that game, but I can't handle this tiny, weeny, eye-killing UI.
Yeah, they've changed some of it, but might have to check it out again. They've definitely improved, at least. The previous version got pretty stable. We had that event for it, and it went pretty well. We were able to play for quite a while. And also we had a Civilization 5 update, and I'm not sure if there was much new content. There might have been some new DLC, but they fixed a lot of bugs. There was one particular nasty bug in multiplayer where if someone offered you a trade, you could alter the deal and it would automatically accept it on both sides, and that was pretty bad.
Give me all your stuff and get nothing in return.
All your cities, thank you. So yeah, it's nice to see that's been fixed up.
I just dropped in some breaking news. Beans found this while we were talking. Oddworld New and Tasty have given a new update on their site. They say they're not quite finished with ensuring the game is fully optimized for all hardware and have at least a couple of months left before release, but they intend to release as soon as possible on Steam, which is cool.
Man, yeah, that game, I tried playing it years and years ago. It might have been the late 90s. If it's that old, at least the first one. Can somebody correct me on that?
I only vaguely remember it.
Only know of it, sorry.
And it is one of these, aesthetically, it's one of these gems from the 90s, and it's weird, it's odd, like the name suggests. I'm really looking forward to getting that and playing it.
I remember being very odd and political at the time, actually. Seemed that quite a lot of the games media were talking about it, it's sort of story with slaves and the rest. But right, so moving on, crowdfunding. Cheese added this title to the list, but I thought I'd include it as well. I skimmed over some of their Kickstarter videos and it looks kind of interesting, so we're just going to share it with you. It's the interactive adventures of Dog Mendoza and Pizza Boy. Apparently it's based on a comic series in printed books. That's about it. Have you two looked at this at all?
I have briefly started up the demo. It was mostly for testing purposes. Like, we even got one of the developers in SteamLUG for a short while, and he updated the demo build for Linux on our input, based on our input.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah.
Yeah, I ran it and it seemed to run pretty well. I didn't get very far though.
Yeah, I just started it up. It looked nice, it sounded nice, but I didn't really play much of it.
Now, this is the Godot engine that, as far as I'm aware, the 7-day FPS project for SteamLUG is using. Is that right?
Yes, we finally decided on that, and some work has begun on it, and it looks like making some good progress.
Which is something I probably should have put further up in the notes, that recently made teams and repos on our shared GitHub for the 7-day FPS project. And if anyone wants to join the project on GitHub, you're more than welcome to contact us. And I think that's about it. Have we missed anything for news this past fortnight?
Probably. But if we missed it, we missed it.
Well,
probably a record short cast, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And edited, it will be even shorter. You have been listening to the SteamLUG Cast. You are always welcome to contact us, cast@steamlug.org for feedback. I have been John.
I've been the Ritter, and I'm probably still going to be there tomorrow.
And I am the Motor. Once again, if you have any suggestions for future events, please send them our way. We'll see if we can schedule them, and especially if you want to be around to help organize, we will definitely get an event scheduled for you. Have a good one.
See ya.
See ya.
I wasn't into PlayStation in the 1s and the 2s.
How could you get into PlayStation on PlayStation 3, which was the worst when it came out of all the PlayStations?
Because the cell gave me a boner.
Ah, dear me.
Some of LucasArts adventure games and Star Wars titles. Oh god.
Flail the Heathen.
Yeah, it's getting bad.